All right, so today we're going to be sampling into the MPC ONE Plus, a very simple video. I know the MPC ONE Plus is a sampler, which means we get to sample anything that's audio. So we're going to be going into the MPC ONE Plus. The things that you're going to need to follow through with this video is going to be these cables right here. I'll put a link right here, and this is a wide cable, so it's a 1/4-inch stereo, which this end right here could connect to your iPhone or your any phone that you may have. Anything that has this type of connection, you can sample off of. I connect this cable to my record player. I do have an Audio-Technica LP60 right here. This is the one that I've been using for years, and I connect this same cable to the back of this record player into my MPC. So if you want to start sampling and you have an MPC, all you're going to need is this cable right here, a record player, which I have the LP60. If you don't want to go vinyl, if you don't want to use any record player, you could use your computer, or you could even use another sampler. I have my SP1200. This is the way I use my SP1200. I always make my drums on the 1200, and then I sample using the same cable out of the 1200 into my MPC. And then, of course, you just need your MPC ONE Plus. If you need any of these accessories or any of these cables, SD cards, or any type of audio equipment, I'll link down in this video a link to Zounds, which you can pick up anything audio related. Zounds is awesome, is the best place to shop at if you guys want to pick anything up audio related. Also, it does support my channel, so if you want to support me without costing you anything, shop at Zounds using some of my links. So assuming you have this cable and you have your MPC, how do we sample into the MPC? Very simple. On the back of the MPC, you're going to have the inputs left and right as you see right here. Now, does it matter which side goes where? If it's a red and a black cable, should I put one at the top and one at the bottom? Honestly, it doesn't really matter. It's just going to be left and right. If you want to be picky about it and you want the left side of the track to be on the left side, just plug these two into the back of your MPC, and this other end of the cable is going to go into your phone, into your computer, into your vinyl player or record player, if that's what you're using, or any type of connection that you may want to sample from that has this type of output. Very simple. Once we have that connected, on our MPC, I just made a video about this a few days ago. If you guys have not watched it, go and watch it. I explain the types of tracks that you're going to have within your MPC. You want to make sure if you have a brand new project, you're using a drum track, which a drum track is going to have these little 4 square icons. A drum track will contain audio, and that audio is going to allow you to chop it up into these individual pads, put them pad 1, 2, 3, 4, the way we would want to use a sampler. That's going to be sampled into a drum type of track. That is if you want to start sampling right away into this current track that we're on. In this video, I'm not going to sample into the track right away. I just want to sample into my MPC and save this sample into the empty library project that we're currently on. How do we do that? Very simple. If you have the MPC ONE Plus, you have a big button right here that says sampler. You just click it once and we are presented right here with our sampler page. This is a very simple page. There's not a lot going on. The only thing you want to make sure of is at the very top left-hand side, you got your inputs 1 and 2. If you're using an MPC ONE Plus, all you get is input 1 and 2. You don't have multiple inputs like the MPC Live. If you have the MPC Live, make sure you are selected inputs 1 and 2, not 3 and 4, unless you're plugged into inputs 3 and 4, but most likely you will be plugging into inputs 1. If you have the MPC ONE, don't worry about that. All you have is inputs 1 and 2. At the bottom, you want to just make sure that it's set to stereo. If you are recording inputs 1 and 2, make sure that's set to stereo. Right here at the bottom, you're going to have your inputs. This is pretty cool, but I would be very careful with this if you're new, because it could either break apart your audio and you cannot undo whatever plugins you put in this insert section. So if you want to distort your signal, if you want to add some reverb or some delay to the sample while you're sampling into the MPC, imprint that plugin to your sample, you can go ahead and add plugins right here. I rarely ever do this unless you know exactly the sound that you're going for, because say I put in a distortion plugin, I sample into my MPC, and then later on I decide, you know what, that distortion does not sound good. I cannot go back unless I resample this again and start all over. So it's up to you. If you know exactly how to work these plugins, insert a plugin of your choice. Right here, you're going to have your threshold slider. This threshold slider is just going to allow you to let the MPC automatically start recording or start sampling once any type of audio exceeds this threshold slider. That works, I guess, if you have a record player right here, and as soon as you drop the needle and it starts audio exceeding this threshold slider, it will automatically start sampling into the MPC without you having to manually start sampling. I like to just have this pretty low. I don't have it at the very low, at the very bottom. I just like to have it about right here. And then over here to your right-hand side, you're gonna have this max length option. If you're new to the MPC, you just got this out of the box, be very careful right here, because I think out of the box, brand new, the max length is 10 seconds or 20 seconds. I remember when I first got my MPC, that was frustrating. I was like, why is it not letting me sample more than 10 seconds? Why is it automatically stopping without me telling it? Make sure this max length, crank it up. I mean, you can go all the way up to 2 minutes. I'm not going to sample anything over a minute. I just leave it at a minute, but you guys do not leave it at 10 seconds. It's almost acting like if you had an SP1200. This SP1200 is just 2.5 seconds or something. So go up to a minute. All right, so right here, you're going to have this off button. What is this? This is actually very important. What this is going to do is going to either monitor the signal that you are connecting to the back of your MPC, or let's say you don't want to monitor that signal through your MPC, you would just leave it at off. In my case, I'm going to leave this set to off because I'm going to sample off of my computer today. Since my computer is hooked up to my interface, I'm obviously going to be listening to the signal coming through my speakers, so I don't need to monitor my input. So I will select this to off. So for example, say you hit play on your phone and you're using your phone to sample, and you see the meters being triggered and you see them jumping up and down, but you cannot hear nothing, and you're like, yo, why can't I hear it? Make sure you go from off and set this to in. Once you have it at in, then it's going to monitor any signal that's running through your MPC. Again, in my case, I'm going to set this to off, but if you want to monitor everything from your MPC, you have your headphones connected to your MPC, you might want to leave that selected on in. All right, so before we go into how we're going to sample into the MPC, I want to explain this meter just slider right here. This is very important because this is going to indicate or tell us how hot we're running the signal into our MPC. I'm going to be sampling some drums. I actually have some drum breaks right here. This sample pack is the King's Volume 2. You can find this at the Drum Broker website. Highly recommend if you guys want to check out some good sounding drum breaks. I'll leave a link to this sample pack at the bottom of this video. So once I have the break or the sample that I want to sample into the MPC, before I even start recording, I want to see how loud that signal is coming into the MPC. This is important because there is no undo. Once you sample into the MPC, if you're distorting your signal and it sounds distorted, you cannot go back. I mean, well, you could go back. You would just have to re-record the sample. So you want to get the sampling right from the source. So what is a good level meter right here? How loud should we sample into the MPC? There's not a right or wrong way of doing it, but my hotspot that I feel that I get good signal to noise ratio is going to be anything between -9 and -3 dB. Now, obviously, music is dynamic, so it's going to fluctuate. You're not going to be perfectly on those meters, but if you could land it anything in between, that'll be fine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit play on my computer so I can hear that drum break, and without me sampling into the MPC, I just want to meter the volume and see how loud this is coming into my sampler. If it's too loud, on the back of the MPC, right next to those inputs, you could adjust the volume, either go hotter or lower. All right, cool. So as you saw, I was way too hot. My levels were distorting, so I brought down the gain on the back of the MPC, and now I'm peaking at about -3 dB. That's a good way of sampling into my MPC. I'm gonna have good levels. I can chop this up. If I need to bring up the volume later on, I can go ahead and do that. I know that I have a good gain stage on the back of the MPC. Now I'm ready to start sampling. So how am I going to sample? Out of these 4 different ways of sampling into the MPC, which one is the best method of sampling, and what is the difference between all of these? Well, all you need to know is that on sample mode, which is right here at default, the first option, it's just going to sample anything you tell the MPC to start sampling from here all the way up to here. You could arm this. Once it's armed, it's ready to record. If I hit play on my computer and any type of sound exceeds this threshold right here, it's automatically going to start sampling. And as it starts sampling and you see the time running, I can hit stop automatically, and anything that started all the way to where I hit stop, that chunk of audio is going to be stored into the sample library. This is already in record ready. It's armed. It's ready to start recording. As soon as volume passes this threshold, it's going to start recording. Now I hit stop. Once I stop that, it's going to ask me, do I want to name this? Yes, I do. I'm going to just name it DRM for drums. So it's just telling you if you want to put this on that drum track that was created by default, which is drum 001. And it's going to ask you, what pad do you want to put this chop on? I'm going to put it on pad 1. It's lit up green. Now at the bottom is going to give you a bunch of different options. What do you want to do right here? Do you want to play your sample just so we can hear what we sample? It looks like it started where we wanted it to. Do you want to discard that? Let's say you messed up and you didn't like how it sounds. You could discard it, so erase it. Do you want to keep it? If you hit keep, it just throws you to your main page and you can continue to do whatever the hell you want to do. Or do you want to go into your editor? If you want to start editing that sample and start chopping it up, you could go into your editor. So now this automatically throws me into my sample edit page. Cool. This will be a whole different video. As a matter of fact, if you guys want everything from start to finish, I do have my course that will explain all of this stuff, the sample editor, how to use everything right here on the sample edit page, how to start chopping up your samples, how to create a drum program. You go in through all of that within the course. If you want more information on that, I'll leave a link down in the description of this video. You can sign up today and make payments as you're learning. All right, so I'm gonna go to my main page, and since we kept that sample and it's on pad A1, I already have it right here on pad A1. Very simple. That's how I sample into my MPC using the sample mode. Now, let me show you my second favorite way of sampling into your MPC. I'm going to create a brand new track, and this new track is also going to be a drum track. Why? Because drum tracks contain audio that we can chop up into each individual each individual pads. Now, in this way, assuming we have everything connected the way we just explained at the beginning, we have our source, whether it is your vinyl player or your computer, your phone, everything's connected to the back of the MPC. I jump in on this track number 2. I'm going to browse for samples, or do I want to sample into the MPC? I want to sample into the MPC, so we can either hit record right here, or I could just go into my sampler. Whichever way, that's fine, as long as you're on that current track before you go into the sample page. Anything that you do is going to most likely be stored into that track. All right, so now I want to explain my second favorite way of sampling, which is pad tap. Pad tap is awesome. I talk about this so much. Pad tap will allow you to sample and chop up your pads at the same time. Let me explain. I have a melodic sample right here that I'm gonna call up on YouTube. I'm gonna hit play. I already know how I'm going to sample this. I'm gonna just sample this on each downbeat. So I'm just gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. As I'm counting the beats in this song, I'm going to be hitting a pad. 1, 2, 3, 4. Every time I hit a pad, it's going to create a slice for me. Essentially, it's just slicing up while I'm sampling on into the MPC. So fast. Let me hit play right here, and as soon as I hear the downbeat where I want to start sampling, I'm going to go ahead and start slicing those pads. Awesome. So I noticed that I filled up all these 16 pads, and at the very last one, whenever I want to stop sampling, I just hit the stop button right there. That was awesome. So what do we do now? What happened next, right? All of these pads are lit up yellow. If you go to Bank B, these are not lit up yellow because there's no audio onto these pads. Only Bank A, because I chopped up 16 pads as I was recording into the MPC. So now I can just go back to my main page, and on track number 2, check this out. It's already all chopped up. That is awesome. Now everything is chopped up. All right, so I hope all of this makes sense if you've made it to this part of the video. Those are the 2 favorite ways of mine, Ellie, when it comes down to sampling into your MPC. Very basic, and I understand for me, this is like common sense, right? Yeah, just plug into the back of your MPC and start sampling, but I understand that everybody comes from a different background. Some people that are completely new to an MPC or just any sampling way in general. So I get these questions, and I am not the type of person to try to look down on someone because, come on, man, just plug into the back of the MPC. I try to have patience because I know when I started just anything, not even just sampling, just anything audio related with my computer or just wanting to get started to make beats, the confusion was like, man, I don't think I'll ever get this. But please, if you're new, don't ever think this is a dumb question. Don't ever think like, maybe I'm not going to ask it. People are going to make fun of me. Not right here, not on my channel. Everybody in my comment section has been helpful. I don't have no know-it-alls or people that try to be jerks. Whenever I see anybody being an idiot like that, I just completely block them from my channel, because my biggest thing is anybody just getting started with this art, it's a blessing, man. And for me, I feed off of your energy. Whenever I read those type of questions, it's fun. It's so exciting to see other people excited just to make music, because I know how excited I get. So when I see you excited and just pumped up to make music, I get excited. So believe me, it's an energy that goes both ways. So keep asking questions. There is no dumb question whatsoever, so ask them. And thank you guys so much for hanging out with me on this video. I hope you guys got something out of it. I'll catch y'all on our next one. Peace.